Welcome to another edition of Everyday Hip Hop. My name is Cayman. He is Xavier. Xavier, how are you doing today?
It's a glorious day. It's a happy day. So many things just to talk about. So prepared for topics today. So I'm just ready to get it started, Cayman. Excited.
Right, you're getting straight to it.
Just get straight to it. I'm excited.
Hey, you guys,
I don't know where this energy came from today. It's just,
right.
just a good day. Something in the air.
Something in the air.
Something was in the air.
It was a couple things in the air. Two times. Do you remember when George Bush dodged the shoes?
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
That was hilarious, and that showed George Bush's real reflexes and why he could be commander-in-chief, even though he was kind of on the dumber side.
Hey, he said, I might be a little slow, but I ain't that slow.
But make sure you guys like and subscribe to the video down below. Again, make sure you like and subscribe. I'm going to wait for you just to do it right now. Right. Go ahead. All right, like a moment of silence for somebody we should have had, but anyway, we're gonna get a little crazy this episode, but we're gonna start off with what's been trending in the world today. You were at the aquarium, having a nice family day. You were off your phone. Donald Trump, Xavier.
Donald J. Trump. I'm going to read this article from NBC News. Former President Donald Trump was injured in an assassination attempt at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. A shooter opened fire, injuring Trump's right ear. One spectator was killed and another two were injured. The shooter is dead. The shots were fired from an elevated position outside the Secret Service security perimeter for the venue. 3 senior law enforcement sources said the FBI has identified the shooter as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Witnesses on the ground described the terror and chaos unleashed by the shooting, from the initial uncertainty of hearing loud popping noises to the mass evacuation of the venue. President Joe Biden called the shooting sick and condemned political violence. He spoke with Trump later that day. And before I hand it over to you, let's read a couple tweets. I want to read the tweet from former President Barack Obama first, and then I want to read what Joe Biden said as well. So before we get to the jokes and everything else that I saw on social media, this is what Barack Obama said: there is absolutely no place for political violence in our democracy. Although we don't know yet exactly what happened, we should all be relieved that former President Trump wasn't seriously hurt, and use this moment to recommit ourselves to civility and respect in our politics. Michelle and I are wishing him a quick recovery. And POTUS, President Biden said on Twitter. Well, he probably didn't say it. Somebody wrote this for him. Joe wrote that for sure.
I have been briefed on the shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who were at the rally as we await further information. Jill and I are grateful to the Secret Service for getting him to safety. There's no place for this kind of violence in America. We must unite as one nation to condemn it. So what's your reaction to the quote-unquote assassination attempt on former President Trump?
It was really crazy to hear still. Like, in our lifetime, I know Obama, of course, had his fair share of threats.
1,000%.
Even after his presidency, still receiving those pipe bombs in the mail and stuff like that. But since Trump, who was the last president to get shot at or shot?
That's a question that's something before our time, definitely, because I don't remember in the last, like I was talking to somebody at work about this, I don't think since JFK it's been, maybe there's been a scare, but to get shot at and be that close to it, I don't know.
Because that's my biggest question. Why was he that close? It's a few months before the presidential election. He's at a campaign rally. Why is there a shooter, a sniper, on a building 410 feet away from you, and you have all of your security?
Right.
It was just crazy to see him that close. We did see him get his ear grazed. He comes down, but he comes right back up, Cayman. And how does he come up? He comes up strong.
I stand for you. And Trump did he posted a couple tweets as well, saying that just saying that he was okay, that he was shot, and this is nothing that will stand here in America. Yeah, he won't let this stand, and God bless America, which is something I really want to emphasize. He ended his tweet with God bless America. So it's coming full circle, for better or for worse, this is going to rile his base up to an extreme. I'm surprised I haven't heard them protesting from here yet, but I do expect it to come, and it's going to give Biden a lot of things to think about coming forward.
Right. And I want to start my conversation, the things that I will say, and preface by saying that we don't really want to see anybody dead. We don't want to see something like this occur. Now that I got that shit out the way.
Right. And I didn't know he was 20. That's really young.
Yeah. There was a lot of conspiracy theories on Twitter already.
Oh, yeah. Twitter was crazy. If
Some
you're a
people,
fan of the heart,
yeah,
you don't go on Twitter
yeah,
today.
Yeah. Some people were saying it was fake. It was staged.
Yeah.
To me...
Well, I've heard different stories. Trump is saying that he was shot, but TMZ had an interview with one of his quote-unquote Secret Service members who said that he wasn't shot. The teleprompter was shot, and the glass ricocheted and grazed him.
Wow.
So we're already, even from his own base, getting a conflicting story. So
right.
You never know.
You never know. I just personally think that after the graze and then the Secret Service jumping on him and then bringing him up and then he's doing the thing, it just seemed very
staged. Just the way that 1, he went down. He just touches his ear,
right,
collapses, comes out with the black power fist.
Right.
Real strong.
And there's going to be more information on this story, and we're just getting it. Like, it just happened today, so we don't really know all the details, so I'm not jumping to conclusions yet. But I'm just saying, based on the video evidence that I seen, that was... Like, you could tell during that Michael Ealy, Jonathan Majors making good interaction what that video was.
Right.
Yeah. And I could tell during this Trump rally, in my own conclusion and on my own personal opinion, that looked a little blase dramatic.
Right.
But hey, he's okay.
He's okay.
But I do agree with you that this is definitely going to make his, like, energize his base in
100%.
in 10 times more fashion than they already were. Like you were saying about the shoes, during the same time that he's doing this rally, his shoes are on auction for $500,000. Like, Trump already is starting to have people on his side. I feel like the main media has been talking about how bad Biden was versus how much Trump was lying in the debate.
Right.
Like, they're not even focusing on that. So I feel like he is gaining a lot of momentum, and with this near assassination attempt, this is what it will be called, I think this boosts him up a lot too.
100%. If Biden already felt that he was the underdog in this situation, his component surviving a potential assassination attempt, it's gonna skyrocket himself exponentially. So Biden has a lot of campaigning to do ahead of him. They do, thankfully or unthankfully, have that debate set in September, so we will get another chance to see Trump and Biden on stage again together. But as of late, Biden thinks he's the first black woman president, and he also thinks that Donald Trump was his vice president. So I won't say I'm extremely hopeful for September, but we shall see.
Yeah, and I just want y'all to go on. This is a funny meme that I saw. The Mini Man Trump. That's what they said. He's gonna walk out to his next freaking press conference or whatever he's gonna do. His next debate, he gonna come out like a football player.
Bro, I saw people taking clips of him coming up with the fist and saying, "Put this in black and white," and that's a Griselda cover.
Right.
Making album covers of this. Like,
right.
Twitter is just so unserious.
So unserious. I don't know what's gonna happen when something really serious happens, because
they're gonna make a joke of it.
The internet is literally not the place to be when something. And I was dying at work,
bro. If Jesus was here, there would have been memes of him on that cross. Like, why he looked like that?
Right. And then they have this meme of Karl Anthony Towns when he did the little, and they said Trump won this election. See y'all on the plantations.
Yep. Yes, sir. Shoot, speaking of basketball memes, I saw one of the Olympic team, Steph Curry, looking up at Jason Tatum. And they were saying, "This man won one. And he think he Kobe Bryant."
He got his little new haircut and everything.
Got a new haircut.
Hey, he
done won.
He done won. So yeah, we're gonna be monitoring this situation very closely. I think this does change a lot for the debates, and even though this is everyday hip hop, you know, we had to do a little segment because this is the #1 trending topic in the world right now.
Right.
Like, another letdown.
Yeah, and the way Trump be bailing out these rappers and bringing them on stage, might as well talk about it on Everyday Hip Hop. Y'all seem to love them.
Right. Yeah. And speaking of rappers,
Get it together.
You had we had a heated Eminem. You've had a heated theory about Eminem, a heated argument about Eminem. This is one of your childhood idols. This is one of your goats of hip hop growing up, Xavier. And he just released a new album, The Death of Slim Shady. This one is 20 tracks, but that's including the video.
And like 3 skits.
And like 3 skits.
We'll call it like what was that, like a 16, 17?
Yeah, 16 tracks. Yeah, about that. So what did you think about the album?
The Death of Slim Shady, the build up I really did like the build up and the promotion for the album, seeing what direction he was going to go with the title alone, thinking just expectation wise what we were going to get, maybe a glimpse into his early life of Slim Shady, you know, tank top, wife beater, pill popping, beating up bitches,
right?
In his hey, Slim Shady said it, not me. Something he would say. And then coming to see his transition of where he is in his stage of his career and his life now. He got some money. His kids are grown. Where is he at now? So that is my expectation of how I went into this album. And boy, was this a roller coaster. And I'm talking one where you go, then you get to the top and you're looking down and you're like, boy, this is about to be a crazy drop. And the whole time you're, ah! The whole time I came in after... Boy, let me look at my phone. After, I believe, track like number 9. After, I'll give it Houdini because it was catchy. The hook was really good. I did like the hook, and the beat was super catchy. And it was like I did like the little reminiscences of Slim Shady and his kind of anti-superhero outfit with Dr. Dre.
Right. So the music on this album. Let's just say like the music
production was Dre gonna be Dre.
Right. Like. Eminem, I would say his last 3, 4, 5 albums have
been call it 4.
Call it 4.
We don't gotta say 5. We can call it 4.
He's been buns for a long time.
He's been there,
but he's been overly rapping, lyrical miracle, like ruining songs. I feel like this had a good flow. I feel like he had a good upbeat tempo, beat selection. I feel like the music, as far as the music from 1 through 20, however he constructed this, the music was really good. It showed his ability.
Dre hit him with a lob for sure.
1000%.
He did not execute.
When it comes to the content
matters. When you proclaim yourself as one of these lyricists, spiritual miracle individuals, that content matters. When you're just somebody who thinks you just rap about money, hoes, drugs, nobody really cares about your content. We're just looking for a device. But when you proclaim yourself and you build your career off of being a lyricist, now people are going to be listening to your music for real. And going back to my roller coaster analogy, because the roller coaster, it starts slow, and in this case it was the build up, because Houdini threw about evil. I was like, boy, I think I know where this album is going, and it has a lining of a glad bag. But I was like, but then it picks up. It picks up. Antichrist, Lucifer, Fuel with JID. JID showed out
1000%,
and he made Eminem show out as well. So it builds back up, and I'm like, okay, I do have a little bit of hope for this album, because that's kind of the only thing I have at this point. Because as you were saying, we're coming off of about 4 mid to albums, and we're still looking at you as one of these goats, and you still want us to look at you as one of these goats. But if we're just going based off your music, you haven't been yourself in a long time. So I was hopeful about midway through the album, and then that's when I was at the top of the roller coaster. The rest of the album, I was screaming. Came in. Tobey Maguire got hit with it. No.
You hate that record. It wasn't that bad.
Why are you trying to prove that you can rap on a track with Baby Tron and Big Sean? Are we serious?
Big Sean is a very good lyricist. Baby Tron is next up in Detroit. Don't do this.
We're not talking about Detroit, Cayman.
That was a Detroit record.
I don't care, but that's not all it was. It was a showcase.
And they all flowed and rapped, and it was, an eloquent showing.
I get that Eminem,
past, present, future.
I get that Eminem always does around like album drops. He always does like a showcase with Detroit rappers, but that's also a showcase. When you're on a track with multiple people, we're gonna start judging you, and of course you're gonna sound better when you're rapping against Baby Tron and Big Sean.
Big Sean has lyricist bars.
Big Sean is compared to Wale, Cayman. Who do you think is going to
Wale's
win?
Good
Who do you
too.
think is going to win in a rap battle, Cayman? Wale or Eminem? Are we serious? Challenge yourself.
But we're saying, we're talking about Eminem's. We're just talking about Eminem's last 1,000%. We were just talking about 1,000%. Yes, we were just talking about Eminem's last 4 projects. You have to remember he was in a rap battle around that time versus MGK, and a lot of people said MGK wouldn't run. So you can't say
that's because
it's not challenging yourself.
My God.
Big Sean right now is one of the top. Is he not a top 10 lyricist? Would you not say that? In 2024, right now, in this era, not in 2013, not in 2015.
He is definitely a top 25 lyricist, Cayman. He is on that top 25 list, and that is not a debate.
And Baby Tron is next up. Tobey Maguire got hit by his fight.
But it was a GOAT. No. And the video and everything, I was over it.
Oh, I didn't even watch the video.
They thought they was on Dark Matter. It was on Dark Matter the whole time. It was just a bunch of clones.
Right.
I couldn't do it.
Eminem's messaging in this, he said a lot of things that were offensive towards different communities. The goal of the whole album and a lot of these records was to create this death of Slim Shady. I think the album comes to it goes to a different level when he drops Guilty Conscience 2. And I think that's a important record of what Eminem was trying to portray in this whole album of who Marshall Mathers is, who Slim Shady is, this character that he had to create to portray a certain image, to say some of the stuff that's in his head that took him to the top. Because what did we know Eminem for? Saying the brash things, saying the things that nobody else would say, saying the things that were kind of like, whoa, off the rails, but this is hip hop. He wanted to say that Slim Shady was that for him. So why do you think that record didn't kind of translate for you in that way of what he wanted this whole album to be?
Right, because I think, like as you just said, the whole album.
Right.
You mentioned one track we mentioned about 16.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that one track trying to cover your ass is going to cover all the homophobic, sexual, misogynistic,
little
rape
people,
jokes, little deaf, everything that you said in that track, that one song reflecting on your guilty conscience, that's not going to cut it. And like you're saying, the direction I thought he was going, he went the complete opposite. I thought he was going to show us Slim Shady in the beginning. We were going to get that white tee misogynist in the beginning. We were going to get those provocative bars in the beginning. And I thought it was going to lead into something new. Who are you now?
Right.
But no, we just got more and more and more of Slim Shady in just a different color wife beater every day. He was just swinging on somebody different every day. And I think what he meant by this title was the death of Slim Shady is I'm going to beat this horse until it's dead. Y'all gonna make me just give it up.
Right. And you were kind of saying that's kind of the same of what Dave Chappelle was doing in his last couple specials.
Yeah. This album really is giving Dave Chappelle, just provocative and controversial for controversial sake. It doesn't really seem like what people I think liked about Eminem early on in his career is he was provocative. He said a lot of just climactic things that got people's attention, but then he also in a way related it to some social commentary. So it was kind of that duality of, oh, he's kind of crazy, but he kind of knows what's going on a little bit. It makes you want to understand it. But now it just seems we're getting one-sidedness. We're just getting the homophobic jokes. We're just getting the gay jokes. We're just getting the trans jokes. And that goes for Dave Chappelle too. At what point is it used to be, yeah, ain't nobody care if you say a gay joke.
Right.
Say all the gay jokes you want. But the joke can't just be that you're gay.
Right.
It's got to be some content to it. But now all it is you're gay, and niggas be laughing.
So let me ask you this, because I'm gonna be honest. Out of all the last 4 Eminem albums, I'm not mad at this album as much because it did bring me back to an era. It did bring me back like, oh, this sounds like 2002.
Right.
Like some of the records he did some things on it. So would you be mad? Okay, this is a definitely Slim Shady, but what if we see more from Eminem? What if in the next 6 months he gives me Marshall Mathers Evolution? If you give me 2 to 3 bodies of work and you're actually going based off this theme, Xavier, it matters what you're going to do in progressing your life. Because if you're going to give me a progressive evolution album after you gave me this, then I'll understand your concept of this.
Then I'll have to wait and see, because I don't know if I'm going to give him that much slack and be like, be like, oh yeah, he's really thinking that much of ahead.
Right.
Unless he watches Bland podcast, then we'll never know. We'll see. But
I just gave you a little evolution thing, Eminem. You wanted to do these songs about your daughter. You didn't like none of the songs.
Oh my god! Every time the
sad
beat,
songs,
every time the beat slowed down, his voice got soft. I was like, next.
Right. I did have to skip a couple of them where it was like
all of them. Next. 10 seconds. Next. No. Talk about you hate deaf people, please.
So
that's what I'm trying to say. But before you go on, you mentioned that when you listened to this album, it brought you back to like 2002.
Right.
And I think that's the problem. Eminem with this album, to me, has really solidified himself as kind of an artist of his era.
Right.
He doesn't really seem to have branched out outside of that, found a new sound, found a new flow, found new content. And I was talking to somebody, and they kind of compared. I think it might have just they compared Eminem to Mac Miller. And I'm like, you can't just compare everybody that's white.
Right.
I get it.
Because those are two different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't compare everybody that's white. But I think a good comparison to Eminem, I would say, is Tyler, the Creator. They both started off with that just really brash, obscene content. But one of them was seen to progress their content, their sound, their whole just persona, and really just market themselves and move forward.
Right.
And has became a really pivotal artist in the culture. And one has really just not left 2006.
Because what was Tyler when he first went in the beginning of his career?
Oh, Tyler and Odd Future,
right.
Wolfgang, that woo, and I was listening. Mm-hmm. I was there for it.
But now you see Tyler. Now you see Tyler now with the hit records, like when he came out with the Kendrick pop-up show. Like a lot of people, everybody knows his records now. What's the name? Like he has evolved into being that artist, and I feel like Mac Miller kind of was in the same way, not in the provocative state, but the evolution. Like before Mac died, that year or two before he died, I forgot what. I think that was it had like 2009 on it. I'm about to look up the album right now, but he was really getting into his music artistry bag on his last. Yeah, shout out to Mac Miller. He was really getting into his. This was Swimming. Swimming was that album where it was like, dang, Mac Miller. Dang, that was 2018 too. That's crazy. R.I.P. But you could tell like he's literally getting into a music thing. He had that other album when he had that Anderson .Paak record on there.
The Divine Feminine.
The Divine Feminine. Those are kind of the things where I'm pushing the levels of what I knew musically, and I'm doing different things, and I'm getting into my bag as an artist.
Right.
Evolution is important for some of these artists, and I'm gonna ask you this. This will be our last thing on Eminem. Where do you rank him now? Where do you put him now in those hip hop debates, in those rankings?
Well,
all time.
It definitely has changed. Early on in my rap career, my rap listening career, Eminem was in my top 10, top 5 maybe. Around 2018, 2017, he dropped to maybe he's top 25. I think I'll put him in the 25 bracket. I'll still give him the respect for a vet, and I get kind of where he comes from. He's more, from what I'm understanding from the album, saying, I've never changed. I've always been who I've been, and you love me for it, but now you want to act like I never existed. So I do want to give him his respect for, and his flowers for being that artist that everyone did love at that time.
Right.
But it's no longer that time. And we see every artist like Tyler, the Creator, like Mac Miller, we see them progress from where they first were. Mac Miller started with frat party music. Now he's over here making songs with Anderson .Paak and CeeLo Green, doing everything we wanted Chance the Rapper to do. Everything we tell Chance to do.
I hope he's getting there. I hope Chance is getting there.
Well, you heard the last song. Chance is not there. But it's just crazy to see where your vets fall. And for me, I take this really personally because a lot of my guys are falling this year, or in general.
Right.
Kanye packed them up. Eminem packed them up a few years ago. It's like, I'm so glad Kendrick won this battle. I would have been back on SoundCloud. Like, what is going on?
Right, and I think I do want to give Eminem the appreciation and the respect of what he did, because speaking of a Kendrick Lamar, like I've said this before, like even going from track 1 to 2, you hear the elements of Eminem, and he said this in his album somewhere in it. You hear the elements of Eminem that some of the greatest have emulated, some of the greatest have taken, and I feel like Kendrick has that infinity stone of the lyrical miracle person. What Eminem has did, like he can gas like that too.
Right.
And he got that inspo from Eminem, so I have to put Eminem in the category like how I rank basketball players. Allen Iverson is kind of in a different category for me because he's not a point guard nor he's a shooting guard, and he kind of didn't evolve with the times as well as other people did that were in his draft class. Kobe, even like a Steve Nash or something like that. Like he had his dominant era, but I'm gonna put him in a different category because he's not a shooting guard, a point guard, and he had his own downfalls that did not make him evolve in this level. But he's still great. But that's still Allen Iverson right there. That's still Eminem right here in a different category. But he's just not in the top 10, top 20 conversation for me, unfortunately. But you gotta respect that, man.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Gotta respect it, and like, as you mentioned, gotta respect it for all the artists, great artists that we now have that were influenced by him.
Right.
Like you mentioned, Tyler the Creator, obviously,
right.
Mac Miller, J.I.D., who was on the album killing it.
Right.
There's whole labels who are monitored, or not monitored, but mimicked in a sense by the style of early on Eminem.
1000%.
But it's the content that matters when you market yourself as the content guy. Now I need the content.
Right. And what are you giving me?
He's giving me GTA.
Eminem is how old these days? Let's see his age.
Oh, he got like 45, 50, 45, 47, 51
years old.
Wow, Eminem's my dad's age?
Mm-hmm.
Basically. Wow.
That's crazy. But on to another rapper, and I wanted to show you this, Xavier. We're going to read a couple Absol tweets, but before we even read this, I'm going to read you Drake's last caption on IG.
Ooh, I need it.
So he has this he has this shirt on, Rap is a Joke.
Hater.
And his caption says, "The pressure from being on top does more than just make your ears pop." And this is the picture.
He's such a sassy. Oh my, he's so sassy, and he's such a hater. I just lost the battle. Rap is a joke now.
Right.
I don't want to be number 1 anymore.
Right. So
I'm gonna make songs with a racist.
Absol says this on Twitter a couple days ago, 4 days ago. "If Drake is the MC I imagine he can be, redemption is not off the table. Keyword MC. But before my rant gets out of context, he could never fuck with Gang and them on some rap shit. That was never a question. We could still potentially match quote unquote artistry, removing my obvious personal / educated bias." And a lot of people were coming to Absol saying that Drake raps better than Absol, which laughable. We don't even have to spend that much time on that. But I was just listening to some of the black hippie deep cuts that a lot of people haven't heard. Absol's was a lyricist with songs with Schoolboy Q, Kendrick Lamar, J-Rock. Sometimes Absol came in first place. Yeah. Like, let's not forget what he did. Let's not forget Control System. Let's not forget who Absol is. So when it comes to rapping ability, just listen to Pie now. If I wanted to listen to something that's from 2024, what him and Daylight did on Pie with J. Cole, that's one of the best songs of this year when it comes to lyricism. So let's stop with the Absol. Absol can say whatever he wants about any rapper. I'm sorry. He can. He has that stamp. That's number 1. Number 2, I don't feel like he was hating. Do you think this was a hating tweet, or do you think this was him poking Drake? Or what do you think this was?
I think it's hate if you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
If you're just listening to music because you like to listen to music. But if you're like actually know what you're talking about when it comes to rap and when it comes to being an MC, when you're really talking about that, people know that if Drake would have took this beef seriously, if he wanted to be the rapper that he wanted to be,
right,
if he wanted to be the MC, the number 1 MC that he thinks he is, this could have been a real battle. He could have gave Kendrick a run for the money.
Right.
But he want to come in and start talking about people's families after he got warned. and it got messy from there.
Right. And not really focus on Kendrick the whole battle. You want to focus on the other 20 guys that are really not in your league. And this guy is really in your league and can do a lot of damage to you. And you need to be focused on him. But you want to make it the 20v1.
What I tell you about not rapping in your league. Stop rapping with Babytron and Big Sean and thinking you're the best nigga in the world. You're rapping against Babytron and Big Sean. Of course, you're gonna sound like the best nigga in the world. You're Eminem. Oh, I forgot we're talking about
Drake.
We're talking about Drake.
So you're saying Drake doing all those features, stealing people's flows?
No, we already know why he stole people's flows, because he can't find his own. Somebody left the writing room, obviously. So he's got to go find the next up and coming thing, because he's no longer the one that can make that hit record. So he just got to insert himself into the upcoming hit record.
Right.
But if Drake still, maybe that's part of the reason why he did decide to go that route. Maybe somebody did leave that writing room that was there early on in that career. We did mention that Drake really hasn't been Drake in like the last 10 years, if we're being honest.
If we're being honest, check them albums. Check them albums.
But don't just check them albums, check them dates on them albums. 2017, 2018 was a long time ago.
Right. That's
we're
true.
We're getting up there.
And you said something that I feel like was important on a previous podcast. You said reference track or not, and that's why Absol was saying keyword MC, because you're gonna have to get it out yourself.
Right.
You're not gonna have to do these stupid captions and post these pictures, but something deep down in you is gonna have to say like, I want to be that MC that takes over the game and reinvents myself and gives us new elements of what I can be, because reference track or not, Drake had that potential.
Right. Reference track or not, you still got to rap it.
Right.
You still got to rap it. It can sound trash. That's why some people just write. It don't sound right.
Right.
Shout out Lil Yachty. Stop rapping with Lil Yachty. But reference track or not, Drake has always showed that potential to be a force if he wanted to be. But we always see that he's kind of trickled more so towards the money. We know being a lyricist is never, unless you're Kendrick Lamar,
Right.
is never going to be the big money grab.
Exactly.
So,
and what has Drake did? He's mocked backpack rappers. He's mocked the ones that Most Def, when he was saying so many SKUs. What kind of music is Drake making? Like,
grocery store music.
You could take it as a shot, but in all reality, what Moses was saying before this beef even started, what we were saying when you were like, sounds like Most was listening to us on the Rising podcast. Shout out Black Ambition Media.
Shout out Most.
Y'all were already listening to what we were saying, and Kendrick kind of stole the strategy of what we were saying to begin with before this beef even started, when For All the Dogs came out last year. Like, Drake, you can't be a one-trick pony. And when I say one-trick pony, that's just making the commercial hit. If you want to be a lyricist, if you want to be a part of that room that Kendrick can now go in with only a certain level or amount of rappers, like, tap into your greatness as a musician and do what you need to do in the booth.
Exactly.
We're not saying that you suck as a rapper.
Exactly. Nobody's saying you suck. We're saying your music is palatable. You make palatable grocery store music that they can just turn on because it's not going to offend anybody and it sounds good. We can just play it.
Right.
There's not enough depth in your music for you to be the GOAT that you think you are when it comes to that MC lyricist title. You keep inserting yourself, as this beef just showed you, inserting yourself in conversations that you just simply don't belong. If we're just talking about hit makers, if we're just talking about who's gonna find the up and coming artist, this nigga think he's Simon Cowell out here. He said, "I'ma find you." If we're talking about who's gonna make the most songs with a racist, shout out Camila Cabello. We know Drake is the guy.
Shout out Camila. Yeah, we know him.
We know he's the guy. We know the positive things that Drake can contribute to music. We know he has a lot of classic albums,
right?
A lot of classic songs, a lot of classic moments. He has contributed a lot to the culture. But if we're just talking rapper, lyricist, MC, that is a separate conversation.
Right.
Because a lot of those people in that conversation are never going to get that same respect, attention, and money that Drake gets because his music is palatable. It's acceptable.
Right.
You can play it at a middle school graduation or a middle school dance party.
Right.
It's Drake.
Do you think he's ever pushed the limits of what he could be? Like,
that's an interesting question. What is the most
out there thing that Drake has done musically?
His dance album when he tried to beat Beyonce to the punch. And I did like it. I did like it. It's more of like you kind of have to like EDM or house music to kind of get into it because it's really.
But he hasn't really did that in a hip hop element. He's just been talented at rapping.
Yeah, he's just been a good rapper. But yeah, there's nothing I would ever say that's been like really. Oh my God, I'm gonna challenge anything in Drake's music. I would say his early on music, of course, where he was more focused on centering his music on women's perspective. Mm-hmm. I would say that's the most forward-thinking idea I've seen from Drake, because I haven't really seen any other artists do that. Usually when you think about rap music and rappers making songs about women, it's usually just about how much they like they ass and want to see them in a thong or something like that. But with Drake, we were getting women talking about, oh, I really love you and I want to see you, like early R&B type music that we don't get from R&B artists honestly anymore. Drake was giving us that in hip hop, which gave him and solidified him in his own separate category, which seemingly was a little bit more R&B-esque, which we see him kind of just focus on with his career. But then when he wants to pop back in and say he's the #1 MC, he gets a lot of slack with that because he's always been a decent, good rapper, and he has solid to classic rap songs.
But you ain't that. You ain't that #1.
But when you get tested, you fold.
Exactly. And I wish this goes.
I want a faux club. Trash.
This goes around to the people that's surrounded him, that's telling him certain decisions, like the people you surround yourself with, what you think about. Like, I felt like Drake was a rap friend. For him to not show up to this battle like he didn't, and y'all can say Family Matters was a good song, but it was a horrible strategy. You did the video, you did all that, and Kendrick stepped on your moment just like that. So however good y'all OVO stands, OV hoes think that Family Matters was, it don't compare to nothing that really Kendrick dropped. Euphoria is my song of the year so far. 6 minutes and 24 seconds of fire. So to me, I just wish we had a focused, tactical Drake that I thought we were going to be able to see in this battle, and Kendrick really just wop, dot fuck him up. Like that's what happened.
It really seemed like Drake didn't understand the threat at hand, and Kendrick was just able to walk in there and just blast them away because Drake was not prepared.
Not prepared at all.
Drake came in here like this was Meek Mill. Drake came in here like this was Lil Pump. Drake just came in here like this was any little minuscule rapper with a slight run that think they the shit. Nigga, this is Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, and we could definitely tell that from his last couple releases.
All Drake had to do was take it serious, and his fans would have carried him the rest of the way. He would have fucking around and won this battle off of his music being solid and his fans on Twitter.
But you had to go the wife route, you had to go the family route, and Kendrick just had to done you.
Wop.
Dot
fucked him up.
Dot definitely fucked him up. Next, Jonathan Major. So, Xavier, we mentioned this earlier in the podcast about Michael Ealy. There's a video that came out that I didn't see. I still can't find it on Twitter. The video I've heard has Michael Ealy dapping up Jonathan Majors first, and then he twirled and picked her up and danced with Megan Good and all that in the air after, then he dapped up D Smoke, Sir's brother.
Why was he there? But regardless,
so does that change your perspective of the video and how that whole thing just came out? Because that still was sick to me.
I don't know. It makes me more interested though. Now I want to know.
Definitely.
Does that make you more mad? Would you be more mad if he dapped you up, then proceeded to pick your girl up and swing her, or would you rather him pick your girl up and swing her, dap everyone up but you?
Nah, you gotta dap me up, bro. You gotta dap me up.
Shoot. I mean, either way, he just sunned you. Either way, you got sunned.
This is a sick video.
You can't dance your way out of this one, Jonathan.
How does Jonathan Majors dance?
He said. I was like, when did this nigga go to college? Okay.
How he's looking, how Jonathan Majors is looking, he look like he don't even want to say nothing.
Sir over there got the goofy hat on.
Sir's brother, nigga.
You right. D Smoke got the goofy hat on.
This is really wild to me. Michael Ealy, hey, that's Michael Ealy, though.
Shout out Mike. That is Michael Ealy. That's exactly what Megan Good told Jonathan Majors. She said, "That's Michael Ealy." You could tell, looking at his face, you could just tell he's holding it in.
Right.
Like, you know, he went home and screamed in that pillow. Feet kicking. Ah!
Like, so excited to see her. I mean, see him. Like, she was so excited to see him.
Yeah, she was.
Like, she didn't even care about Jonathan Majors being there no more.
I mean, I'm still confused on why they're together.
You know, public, you know, the black woman had to come and save him from.
Yeah, maybe this showed us who she really is with. Maybe this was a reunion.
Well, you know, what I just want to know what's up with Jonathan Majors with the walking boots that he has, the 60s civil rights rhetoric that he be spewing, the dance moves that he looks like he's from the 70s and the 60s.
This man's stuck in Selma. He can't get out.
I felt like he was just playing a character and he was getting ready for a role, but this seems like to be really him. So what's up with that, man?
He's deep method acting right now. He's lost in the sauce, lost in the Martin Luther King Jr.
And it's just like, I've seen videos of Megan Good doing red carpets, and he's standing there with that same stupid ass look he had on after Michael Ealy.
He missed his white girl.
After Michael Ealy is holding his girl up in the air.
That's tough. No,
spinning her around.
I would have been looking stupid too if I wasn't fighting him. I would have been looking stupid too. I would have been sitting there talking about.
Because what can you really do after he's spinning her in the air for 10 seconds?
Yeah, unless you're gonna beat Michael Ealy on camera, you're not gonna do nothing. You gotta eat that.
That's why it's up to the girl to be like,
boy, his phone would have been ringing. I would have been calling him when I got home. Michael, pick up this damn phone. Michael,
we gotta have a conversation.
Three-way call. Megan,
right.
Megan, get on the line.
Right. Any more topics for you today, man?
There's a lot of music coming out.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of music coming out. There's some music that's already dropped. I finally got around to listening to that Lupe Fiasco album.
Okay, how was that?
Exactly what you expect. Bars.
Okay.
Bars. Got me thinking I would love a Lupe Kendrick battle, but Lupe, I don't know. He little beat selection sometimes be washing it for me.
Right.
But Lupe, Zachariah has dropped as well. I haven't had a chance to finish his album either. But who else? Who else is dropping recently?
You know who I want you to listen to, and maybe we'll come back with the album review. You said a lot about this lady. Megan Thee Stallion went on tour recently about a Hot Girl Summer album. She did just release Megan. That came out June 28th, 2024. So you're kind of behind, Xavier, but you need to listen to this.
Did you?
I did not.
How you gonna pull up an album for me to listen to?
I'm just saying, because you were saying how is she touring from an album from 2019? She just got an album now, a brand new album. So we gotta see if it's fire.
And how long has she been on tour already, Cayman? The album dropped after she's been on tour. That's where I was confused. How are you going on tour without an album? How are you going on tour promoting an album from 2019? I'm confused.
But she was selling them tickets, and now she has this album out. I don't understand that either. But
and why are you hopping out a dinosaur egg when she spent this whole time playing video games? Now I'm double confused. That don't even match the dang theme of her concerts right now.
Megan, but she's an entity. She's something that's hatching out and coming alive.
Man, fuck. What's his? I was about to say Tracy Morgan.
Whoa, what?
What's that short bald nigga's name?
Tory Lanez.
Fuck Tory Lanez. Fuck Tory Lanez. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan. Shout out Tracy Morgan.
Is No Worries album still album of the year to you so far?
As far as replay value, I would definitely say so.
Okay.
What I've gone back to, there's a few albums that I expected myself to go back to that I just haven't, and No Worries is definitely not one of those albums. Four Bats, I really have not gone back to that at all.
Me either.
It was bumping for that first week though. Shout out Four Bats, but I really have not gone back to that. Rhapsody. I really did thoroughly enjoy that album. I haven't gone back to it as much as I should. That is on me though.
You know who you need to go back to? Schoolboy Q.
I go back to Schoolboy Q's Blue Lips for certain songs.
There you go.
Certain songs. It's not, I wouldn't say it's going to. I'm not gonna go on record to say that's album of the year,
right?
Or even top 3. I would have to say top 5.
Top 5, yeah, 1,000%.
But it's not gonna be in my top 3 albums of this year so far. Unfortunately, I would still put Vince Staples' Dark Times.
Oh yeah, Vince Staples had a really good album
in my top 3. So I'll go in my top 3 albums of the year so far. I got Vince Staples' Dark Times. I got No Worries, Why Load, and that third spot. I think is still open. I think that third spot is still open. We got Denzel Curry dropping, I believe, this month. Denzel Curry should be dropping soon.
You wouldn't put
and he already got, I think, was it whenever he dropped Melt Your Eyes to See Your Future, that was my album of the year. So I'm very, very, very hopeful for this drop that Denzel will swoop into that third spot.
You wouldn't put Future and Metro's album in there? Where do you have that at?
I really that's actually really interesting because I did up until yesterday, because I went back to We Still Don't Trust You, and We Don't Trust You, and the songs don't have as much replay value as they did within the first month or 2 months or couple weeks. You feel me?
Right.
So I would say that because it was in my top 3. So that's why I'm saying that spot is open now. Right. Because We Still Don't Trust You was in my third spot. I really do prefer Future when he sings versus rapping Future.
Right.
So that more R&B-esque We Still Don't Trust You I was definitely there for, which they still did give us some rap bars as well. But third spot is open. It's open.
I would say that too. No Worries for me, K Tronada for me as well. That was a really good album. But I'm ready for that rap album, and I hope I get it from Kendrick Lamar by the end of this year. That's just gonna just take it over the top as far as the year of 2024 and what rap has been, and we need somebody to come in and just take that. I'm pulling for Roddy Ricch. I'm pulling for the Mustard album as well. I'm pulling for some of these albums that are still anticipated. I'm pulling for a TDE compilation album that I don't know if I'm going to get, because you know how TDE is.
You know how TDE is. That's why I'm surprised you know you're not getting that album.
But I feel it's the 20 year anniversary.
I don't
so
care
I feel
if it
like
was 100-year anniversary. They would not resurrect them to do nothing.
I need 8 Black Hippie songs, and I need a Reason TDE song too.
You're getting 3 max, maybe 4. Not no dang EP. You ain't getting nothing. You getting a mixtape, if that. But I don't know. There is a lot of music that I'm still very hopeful for. Right. That like you're saying, I do need that rap album in my 3. I got my R&B. I got my more thoughtful hip hop with Vince Staples. Right. I need that rapper. Like, unless I'm really finna give it up to Chief Keef, because I did like that album. Or am I giving it to Big Sexy this year? I love you. Stop. You my everything. That's my song.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
I might have to give it up to Big Sexy. Gunna's project. It had a solid
Gunna's
couple
project
songs.
Was good. Yes.
Neck on a Yacht.
Right.
I do like a good couple songs off that album.
1,000%.
But no, it's not cracking that top 5.
Yeah,
unfortunately. So I do feel like he's had better projects.
Right. So we shall see. More music is going to be coming, and we will be covering that. But that is going to be all for us today on Everyday Hip Hop. Again, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the video for more commentary. And we finna be out. Peace.
Yeah. Peace.